Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 21st of November. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director of Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is a weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have Appen, Suncorp, WiseTech and VHT. So if you have a request, send it through. Remember to sign up to the free newsletter. Make sure you share this video on social media. If you do enjoy these videos, we'd love to hear from you, so please leave us a review on Google or Facebook. And just remember, any advice here, of course, is general only. So with Appen, APX, looking at the daily chart, so quite timely, we've been asked to look at this one again. I think the last time we looked at it was several weeks ago, a few months ago, around this point here. We're looking at the big rejection and then the lack of any sort of buying in the lower half of this this negative candle. So at the time I suggested it would continue to fall back, and we were targeting somewhere in this gap here in February, so possibly sub $20 levels. So we can see that it did that nicely and then jumped. It made a higher high at the end of last week, so we could see that it managed to overcome this previous high. So that was actually a buy signal. A few of our clients picked it up Friday last week. Obviously it's jumped on Monday and now come back a bit, but to me it looks like it's still a buy. I think that if you were to pick it up here, you place your stops just under the gap, but it looks like it is breaking away here. Volumes have been pretty good, so I think it'll retest the old high over $30. Okay, Suncorp. So daily chart, if we zoom out, we can see that, you know, over the last year, it hasn't really done anything since February. So it's still nowhere near its peaks from last year. There's not really any suggestion here of potential rally. I mean, it's at the bottom of the range. So this range since February, it's towards the bottom. Maybe it has a bit of a short-term bounce to the top of the range, but nothing yet to suggest to me that it wants to head higher. If anything, it's the risk is probably still eventually to the downside longer term, just given its huge underperformance compared to the broader market. Okay, WiseTech. We'll start off with the daily chart. So obviously it had the big fall in mid-October because of the being targeted by short sellers. So you get a big move like that. Usually it is fairly unusual for a stock to just bounce back straight away. So we saw a bit of a feeble move higher on decreasing volume. So, you know, if anything, that was probably an opportunity to get out. And now we can see it coming back with volume picking up again. So if we move to a weekly chart, you know, we've possibly got a head and shoulders. We've got this sort of left shoulder, the peak, and now a lower right shoulder. So, you know, that would be the neckline here. So I think a breach of that could be quite negative. Looks like there's a bit of support back here. But when it comes to head and shoulders, you measure the depth, extrapolate it out. So we're looking at, you know, potentially sort of $15 even. You know, give or take. Obviously, if we have a look back here, there's a bit of support. So I'm not saying it's going to $15, but, you know, if it breaches this neckline, trades under 25, you know, you may well see a further $10 decline. And VHT, Volpara. So daily chart, we looked at this one about a month ago. So in terms of an update, so at the time I mentioned nice move here, big sort of flat correction, which was a positive. Then I think when we looked at it, it was around here. It had a bit of a breakout, so I suggested it would have a decent rally, and that's pretty much what's happening. So of course it's off today, you know, bit of a drop today, but ultimately the longer term trend still looks good. I don't see any danger signs, and I think given the fact that this is corrected in a flat way for such a long period of time, I think that there's more upside than what we've already seen here. So I think overall it's still looking pretty good. Okay, that's it for this week. If you have a request, send it through. I'll try to cover it next week for you.